In this lesson, you will place elevation views on a sheet and then arrange them as a single view in preparation for creating a one-line diagram. Click the menu browser and select Open. And from the Training Files Imperial Construction Documentation folder, open the file RME Docs Detailing 01. Let's tag electrical panels. In the project browser, with Level 1 Power Plan B view active, zoom in and double-click the right elevation head to open the Power Riser 113 East Elevation view. Then click the Annotate tab, and from the Tag panel, click Tag by Category, and on the Options bar, clear Leader, and in the drawing area, select each of the two panel boards. Next, we'll place views on a sheet. In the project browser, under Sheets, open the view E101 Electrical Power Riser Diagram. Then, drag the view Power Riser 113 North Elevation from the project browser to the empty area in the upper left of the sheet. Place Power Riser 113 East on the sheet as shown. Press Escape and zoom into the Power Riser elevations on the sheet. And next, we'll modify level lines. Select the 113 North view and right-click and click Activate View. Then select the Level 1 line and use the filled circle drag control on the right to drag the end of the level line to the right. Doing this enables you to later drag the 113 East view to the left, giving the appearance of a single view. Right-click and click Deactivate View. And next we'll modify a viewport title. Select the title of the 113 North view, and from the Element panel, click the Element Properties drop-down and select Instance Properties. In the Instance Properties dialog, under Identity Data, for Title on Sheet, type Electrical Power Riser Diagram. And click OK. Next, we'll remove a viewport title display. Select the 113 East view, and from the Element panel, click the Viewport drop-down and select No Title. Next, we'll align the elevation views to resemble a single view. Select the 113 East elevation view and right-click and click Activate View, and then select the Level 1 line and right-click and move to Hide in View and click Elements. Then right-click and click Deactivate View and select the 113 East elevation view again and drag it to the left so that it overlaps the 113 North view as shown. Clear the selection and close the file without saving it, as the next lesson will provide its own training file, and that concludes this lesson. In this lesson, you will use detail lines to create wiring for the one-line electrical riser diagram. You'll also create a detail group and annotate the diagram. Click the menu browser and select Open, and from the Training Files Imperial Construction Documentation folder, open the file RME Docs Detailing 02. Let's create a line type. Click the Manage tab, and from the Project Settings panel, click the Settings drop-down and select Line Styles. In the Line Styles dialog, under Category, expand Lines, and under Modify Subcategories, click New. And in the New Subcategory dialog, for Name, type Electrical Power, and click OK. Back in the Line Styles dialog, for Electrical Power Line Weight, select 6, and click OK. Next, we'll draw line work to create a wiring diagram. Zoom in to the Service Transformer TSVC as shown, and then click the Annotate tab, and from the Detail panel, click Detail Line. On the Element panel, click the Line Style drop-down and select Electrical Power. Then, beginning at the transformer, draw lines to represent the wiring to the switchboard as shown. Then press Escape. Then, using the same method, add lines to represent wiring between the switchboard and a panel on level 3 as shown. As you draw, notice that since there are no snaps active, zoom in as necessary and use the drag controls to make sure the lines clean up properly. Then click the Modify tab, and from the Edit panel, click Offset, and on the Options bar, for Offset, enter 1/8 of an inch. Then offset the first 2 lines from the switchboard to the right as shown. Then click the Annotate tab and select Detail Line and draw a line to connect the offset line to MDP2 as shown. Then from the Modify tab, Edit panel, click Trim, and trim the 2 lines shown by using the portion of the line you want to keep. Continue adding detail lines until the diagram is wired as shown. Next, we'll add a break symbol and note. We'll create the break symbol and text note once, and then copy them to multiple locations in the diagram. Zoom in to panel MP1B. Then click Detail Line, and on the Draw panel, click Start End Radius Arc. Then draw a cap or the break symbol over the 3 vertical lines at the top of the panel as shown. Start point, end point, and arc. Then click the Annotate tab, and from the Text panel, click Text, and from the Alignment panel, click Center. Then click above the cap and type See Mechanical Connection Schedule as shown. Then select the text and use the drag controls to resize the text and position it as shown. With the text selected, hold the Control key and select the detail arc, and from the Modify panel, click Copy, and on the Options bar, click Multiple, and click the endpoint of the left vertical line under the break symbol as the copy start point. Then click the endpoint of each corresponding lines for the other 2 mechanical panels, MP2B and MP3B as shown. Then press Escape, and next we'll use 3 detail lines to create a ground wire symbol. Zoom to the level 1 switchboard and click Detail Line, then click a point and move to the right and type 0 space 0.5 and press Enter. Then click Modify, and from the Modify tab, click Offset, and on the Options bar, for Offset, type 3/32 of an inch, and place 2 more lines before the first one, as shown, and press Escape. Then select the middle line, and click the length dimension, and type 0 space 0.25, and using the same method, change the length of the bottom line to 0 space 0.125. Next, we'll create a detail group. In the project browser, expand Detail under Groups, and then, using the Control key, select all the 3 lines. Then from the Create panel, click Create Group, and in the Create Detail Group dialog, type Ground, and click OK. Notice that the new ground now displays in the project browser. With the group still selected, drag the Modify Group Origin control to the midpoint of the top detail line and press Escape. Next, draw a detail line that extends from the bottom right of the switchboard, and then connect the ground detail to it. Then, from the Create panel, click Create Similar and click below each of the transformers TP1B and TP2B to place the ground wire group in those locations. Then copy the detail line and move the group details appropriately as shown. When finished, select the entire electrical riser power diagram viewport, and from the Modify panel, click Pin so that they don't get moved accidentally. Close the file without saving it, as the next lesson will provide its own training file, and that concludes this lesson. In this lesson, you will duplicate an existing view and orient it to a section view in order to create an isometric detail view. You will use a view template to isolate the mechanical components so that you can annotate the detail components. Click the menu browser and select Open. And from the Training Files Imperial Construction Documentation folder, open the file RME Docs Detailing 03. Let's prepare the view. In the project browser, under Documentation HVAC Duct 3D Views, right-click 3D Duct and Equipment, and move to Duplicate View, and click Duplicate. Then, right-click the copy, and click Rename, and type Typical Makeup Air Isometric Detail, and click OK. Right-click the View cube, and click Orient to View, and then move to Sections, and click Typical Makeup Air. Zoom in to view the section, and then select the section box, and drag the top grip down so that the section includes only the first floor. Then move your cursor over the View cube, and click Home, and then click the corner where the top, back, and left sides converge, and press Escape. Next, we'll apply a view template. In the project browser, right-click Typical Makeup Air Isometric Detail, and click Apply View Template. In the Apply View Template dialog, under Names, select 3D HVAC ISO, and click OK. This isolates the mechanical components by turning off the architectural components. Next, select the long rectangular duct at the rear, and right-click, and move to Hide in View, and click Elements. We're hiding this duct because it's not part of the detail being created. Next, we'll annotate the view. Click the Annotate tab, and from the Text panel, click Text. Then on the Leader panel, click Two Segments. Then, to place the label, click on the long rectangular duct to place the leader. Then, move the cursor down and to the left, and click to specify the second leader point, and then move the cursor to the left and click to specify the text insertion point. Then type makeup air duct from AHU1. Then click modify. Using the same method, label the connecting duct 8x8 makeup air to return plenum, provide motorized damper, typical, as shown. Select the text for the 8x8 duct and drag the controls to resize the text box as shown. Then, with the text still selected, on the alignment panel, under horizontal, click right. Then, complete the text labels as shown. To rotate and reposition a text label, use the rotate and drag controls. Next, we'll modify the view. From the View control bar, click Show Crop Region and zoom out so you can see the crop region. And then click on the crop region and use the drag controls to position the boundaries around the detail as shown. Then, back on the View control bar, click Hide Crop Region and then click Crop View. Next, we'll place the view on a sheet. In the project browser, under Sheets, double-click M601, and then drag the new isometric view from the project browser onto the sheet as shown. With the viewport still selected, on the element panel, under Viewport, click the drop-down and select Viewport Square. Then clear the selection and close the file without saving it, as the next lesson will provide its own training file, and that concludes this lesson. Next, we'll create a detail group. On the Draw panel, click Line, and using the existing thin lines as a guide, draw wide detail lines as shown. Then click Modify and select the chain of lines using the Tab key and click Create Group. Name the group Flashing Membrane FD, and then drag the origin point so that it snaps to the right endpoint of the detail lines as shown. Press Escape, and next, to add break lines, from the Detail panel, click the Component drop-down and select Detail Component, and from the Change Element Type drop-down, select Break Line, and then bring your cursor into the drawing area and press spacebar 3 times to orient the component correctly and place it at the midpoint of the drain as shown. Place another one at the midpoint of the slab's left edge. Press Escape twice. Modify the break line boundaries using the grips as shown. Next, to add a keynote, from the Tag panel, click the Keynote drop-down and select User. Select the top of the drain as the object to tag, and then click the next 2 points to place the leader as shown. Then in the Keynotes dialog, expand Division 22, 221300, under 221316, select 221316.A1, floor drain without waterproofing, and click OK. Click Modify, and if necessary, select the keynote and drag the text to the right. Next, to add text notes, from the Annotate tab's Text panel, click Text, and on the Leader panel, click 2 segments and from the alignment panel, click right. Then locate the leader's start point in the area shown. Then move up and to the left and specify the second leader point and the text insertion point as shown. And type this note. Continue annotating the detail as shown. Next, to add dimensions, from the Dimension panel of the Annotate tab, click Aligned. Then place a string of 2 dimensions by selecting the objects shown. Next, we'll place the detail on a sheet. In the project browser, under Sheets, double-click P103. Then drag the typical floor drain detail from the project browser to the top center of the sheet as shown. Then on the Element panel, from the Viewport Change Element Type drop-down, select Viewport Square and clear the selection and close the file without saving it, as the next lesson will provide its own training file, and that concludes this lesson. In this lesson, you'll work with drafting detail components. Click the menu browser and select Open, and from the Training Files Imperial Construction Documentation folder, open the file RME Docs Detailing 04. To create a drafting view, click the View tab, and from the Create panel, click Drafting View. In the New Drafting View dialog, type Typical Floor Drain Detail, and for scale, select 3 inch equals a foot and click OK. The new view is listed in the project browser under Views, question marks, Drafting Views. Right-click the view name and click Properties. For Subdiscipline, select Plumbing. And for View Classification, select Documentation and click OK. And notice the new location of the view in the project browser under Documentation, Plumbing, Drafting Views. Next, to place a floor drain detail component, click the Annotate tab, and on the Detail panel, click the Component drop-down and select Detail Component. Then, place the floor drain with waterproofing section detail in the middle of the drawing area. Then click Modify and zoom into the component. And next, to create a concrete slab using a filled region, from the Annotate tab's Detail panel, click the Region drop-down and select Region. From the Draw panel, click Rectangle. Then, for the rectangle's start point, click the point at the top of the drain as shown, and then drag the cursor down and to the left so that the rectangle is 1 foot 8 inches by 5.5 inches. Click the Element panel drop-down and select Region Properties. Verify that the type is set to CIP Concrete and click OK, and then click Finish Region. And then with the filled region still selected, on the Arrange panel, click the Send to Back drop-down and click Send to Back. Then clear the selection, and to add a structural metal deck detail group, from the Annotate tab's Detail panel, click the Detail Group drop-down and click Place Detail Group. Then, from the Change Element Type drop-down, select 1.5 NR18 and click the bottom left corner of the filled region. Then click Modify, and to modify the boundary of the filled region, select the filled region and select Edit Boundary. Then on the Draw panel, click Line and zoom into the lower left corner of the filled region and select the shown points in turn. Then click Modify and highlight one of the lines you just drew and press Tab to highlight the chain of lines and click to select them. Then click the Modify panel drop-down and select Copy, and on the options bar select Multiple and copy the chain of lines to the right as shown. Press Escape. Then draw a line from the end of the last copied boundary line down to the base of the slab as shown. Then from the Edit panel, click Trim and then select the small vertical line you just drew and then select the base of the slab to the right of the line. Pan over to the other end of the slab. Then trim the first line with the line on the side of the slab above the line as shown. Then click Finish Region. To create a floor component, click the Annotate tab and on the Detail panel, click Detail Line, and from the Draw panel, click Rectangle and draw the rectangle shown. In this lesson, you will import a CAD detail drawing and then modify line weight properties in the imported drawing. Click the menu browser and select Open, and from the Training Files Imperial Construction Documentation folder, open the file RME Docs Detailing 05. In the project browser, under Documentation, Plumbing, Drafting Views, open the view Roof Drain Overflow Detail. Then, to import a CAD detail drawing, click the Insert tab and from the Import panel, click Import CAD. In the Import CAD Formats dialog, from the Training Files Imperial Construction Documentation folder, select Roof Drains Overflow Imperial, and from the bottom of the dialog, for Colors, select Black and White, and for Layers, select Visible, and for Import Units, verify that it's set to Auto Detect, and click Open. Then right-click in the view and click Zoom to Fit. And next, we'll modify the CAD drawing line weight. Zoom in to the left side of the detail as shown. Then click the Manage tab, and from the Project Settings panel, click the Settings drop-down and click Object Styles. In the Object Styles dialog, click the Imported Objects tab, and under Category, expand Roof Drains Overflow Imperial and select A-NPP, and for line weight, select 3 and click OK. Take note of the line weight update and then right-click in the drawing area and click Zoom to Fit. And next, we'll place the detail on a sheet. In the project browser, under Sheets, open the view P103 Plumbing Part Plans and Details. Then drag the Roof Drain Overflow detail from the project browser over to the upper right of the sheet. Then click to place it and press Escape. Then zoom in to the upper right corner of the sheet and select the Viewport title, and on the Element panel, click the Viewport Change Element Type drop-down and select Viewport Square. Then, if necessary, reposition the detail as shown. And when finished, close the file without saving it, as the next lesson will provide its own training file, and that concludes this lesson.